15 Shameless Things Real Bjorn Did on Vikings. Vikings, the historical drama show, has captured the imaginations of audiences worldwide with its vivid portrayal of the brutal and intriguing world of the Norse warriors. Get ready to uncover the untold and scandalous story of Bjorn Ironside, the Viking warrior who was not afraid to push the limits of social norms and conventions. In this eye-opening video, we reveal 15 shameless things that the real Bjorn did on Vikings that will make you see this legendary character in a new light. Number 1. He put his own desires first. Despite being the natural successor for the throne of Kattegat, Bjorn's selfish desires led him to reject his responsibilities as a leader. He craved adventure and exploration, refusing to let the burden of ruling a kingdom hold him back. This shameless pursuit of his own desires caused chaos and instability in Kattegat, leaving the people without a strong and decisive leader. While Bjorn's potential to be a great king was undeniable, he chose to put his desires ahead of the well-being of his people, leaving a legacy of shame and irresponsibility that would taint his reputation for years to come. Number 2. He gave up on Thorun due to her fears. Bjorn's love for Thorun was passionate and intense, but their happiness was short-lived. Thorun's severe terror from battle left her struggling to cope. While Bjorn tried to support her for a time, he eventually gave up on her despite breaking tradition to make her his wife, unable to handle the emotional toll of her trauma. Number 3. He slept with a married Torvi. Bjorn's affair with Torvi, a married woman in an abusive relationship, was a selfish and shameless act. Despite knowing the danger he was putting Torvi in, he continued to see her, leading to her eventual decision to leave her husband. However, the consequences of their affair were severe. Torvi was forced to leave her child behind as punishment for her choices, and Bjorn faced the wrath of his father's disapproval. Number 4. Changing his mind about ruling. Bjorn's decision to fight for the throne of all Norway after refusing to take on the throne of Kattegat may seem like a hypocritical and shameless act, but it could also be interpreted as a sign of growth and maturity. After his travels and experiences, Bjorn realized the importance of a capable and benevolent ruler and understood the weight of his bloodline and his responsibility to his people. Despite his earlier reluctance, Bjorn fought hard for the throne, proving his worth as a leader and ultimately becoming the first king of all Norway. Number 5. He was unaffected by his daughter's death. Bjorn's apathy towards his daughter Siggy was a shameful display of his selfishness. Even after being scolded by his father Ragnar, he did not seem to care about her well-being or presence. He completely disregarded her safety and happiness when he left her in Aslaug's care. After her tragic death, Bjorn's lack of compassion for his flesh and blood was quite disturbing and cold-hearted. He brushed off her passing just as quickly as Aslaug did, showing a callousness unbecoming of a father. Number 6. He took a second wife when Gunhild was pregnant. Despite the potential consequences, Bjorn still proceeded to marry Ingrid, knowing it could lead to unrest and division among his people. While his decision to take a second wife could be seen as selfish, it may also be interpreted as a reflection of Bjorn's desire for freedom and non-traditional relationships. It may be Bjorn's way of breaking away from the constraints of societal expectations and embracing a more unconventional way of life. Number 7. He abandoned Torvi for another woman. As Bjorn grew older, he became more reckless in his relationships, and his marriage to Torvi was no exception. He took her for granted and failed to show her the love and respect she deserved. Only when Torvi confronted him about his behavior did he finally admit to his disinterest in their relationship. The pain in Torvi's eyes was palpable as she realized the man she loved had moved on, and her heart was shattered. Number 8. He was responsible for the deaths of his mother and his son. Bjorn's reign as king of Kattegat was marked with blood and tragedy. After allowing Ivar's men to go free, he paid the price with the life of his son, Halle. The loss of Lagertha, a dear friend and ally, only compounded the heartbreak of losing a child. Mistaken for Ivar by Hvitserk, Lagertha met her end by the sword. Bjorn was left to mourn the loss of those he loved and to question the decisions that led him to this point. As he looked out over the kingdom he had fought so hard to claim, he knew his time as a ruler had ended. If you're enjoying learning about the shameless things Bjorn did on Vikings, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more great content. And while you're here, let us know in the comment section down below which other shameless actions Bjorn has done. Number 9. He slept with his mother's lover. Bjorn's decision to sleep with Astrid was a moment of utter selfishness and disregard for the feelings of those around him. Even worse, he seemed to revel in the thought of hurting his mother. But when Lagertha learned the truth, she surprised everyone with her reaction. Instead of being upset or angry, she was calm and accepting, telling Bjorn she would be happy for him if he found love. Number 10. He was disrespectful to Alfred while hiding in England. As Bjorn sat in the safety of King Alfred's court, he couldn't help but feel a sense of bitterness towards the young ruler. He resented that he had to bow down to a Christian king and didn't care how often Alfred thanked him for his help. To Bjorn, Alfred was just a means to an end. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that he had missed the days he was in charge and didn't have to answer to anyone. His arrogance has blinded him, and he failed to see the value of the shelter offered to him. Number 11. He told Lagertha about Ragnar's infidelity. Bjorn struggled with the weight of the secrets he was keeping from his mother. He loved his father but couldn't bear to see his mother hurt. Eventually, he broke down and told her about Ragnar's infidelity with Aslaug. Lagertha was understandably devastated, but Bjorn promised to support her no matter what. When Aslaug arrived in Kattegat pregnant with Ragnar's child, Bjorn was torn between his loyalty to his mother and his duty to his father. At number 12, Ragnar fakes his death and Bjorn keeps his secret. As Ragnar died, he cunningly planned to take down Paris and secure his legacy as a Viking legend. Ragnar revealed his plan only to a select few, including his son Bjorn, who swore to keep the secret until the time was right. After Ragnar's death, his plan remained hidden, and many assumed that his death was the end of the Viking attack on Paris. But little did they know that the cunning Viking had one final trick up his sleeve. As the casket containing Ragnar's body was brought inside Paris, it was revealed to be empty. Ragnar and his men had already infiltrated the city, waiting to take the princess hostage and wreak havoc. Number 13. He slept with Aelswith. Bjorn had always been a wild and reckless adventurer, and his actions often reflected that side of his personality. While in England, he knew the importance of forming alliances with the locals, but he couldn't resist his urges when Aelswith presented herself to him. In the heat of the moment, Bjorn forgot his responsibilities and gave in to his desires. He had never considered the consequences of his actions, and this instance was no different. He had risked an entire alliance all for the sake of fleeting pleasure. Number 14. He stopped Ubbe and Ivar from taking revenge on Lagertha. Bjorn is caught up in a family feud as tensions rise between Lagertha and Ragnar's sons. Despite his love and loyalty for his mother, he understands the pain and anger that Ubbe and Ivar feel towards Lagertha. But he also recognizes the importance of unity and loyalty to their people. So when Ubbe and Ivar move against Lagertha, Bjorn stands in their way. Number 15. He was going to burn Hvitserk alive. Bjorn considered burning Hvitserk alive after he betrayed him by joining forces with Ivar. Bjorn was angry and wanted revenge on his brother for his actions, but ultimately chose to spare Hvitserk's life. The scene took place during the show's 6th season and was a part of an ongoing conflict between the brothers, who at the time were vying for control and power in their society. Thank you for watching our video till the end, and if you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Historical Saga, for more fascinating historical content. Here's a question for you to answer in the comment section down below. What do you think was the most shameless thing that Bjorn did on Vikings? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so do comment away.